I am Kesten Rono, and you're here for day 41, recognizing your holiness, your blessings, and your connection to God through A Course in Miracles. Okay. I love you too. I love you too. And I love you. That's what we're here for, is to learn how to accept ourselves and a new way of seeing based in love and truth on a path towards building to abundance with our best interests in mind, understanding our true essence, our meaning, that we are imbued with it and purpose, that we are creators, divinely connected to God, and able to see through the illusions that we have been using to image make our reality, creating reflections of what we want to be or what we are afraid of being scattered around us, possibly so that we can wake up using anything or everything to a more meaningful existence, one based fundamentally off of truth and understanding of perfect peace, perfect safety, freedom from worry, moving away from dis-ease, returning to the natural flow of ease, expressing ourselves into the unknown. All right, principle 41. Wholeness is the perpetual content of miracles. They thus correct or atone for the faulty perception of lack. Okay, wholeness, to be full, fullness, to be complete. You are worthy, powerful, abundant, and complete. Wholeness is the perceptual content of miracles. Remember, miracles are a natural process that are occurring all the time. They're only misguided if we believe darkness may hide, or if we want to gain conscious control, or we get sidetracked by the spectacle, falling victim to the magic alone of miracles, and thus becoming victim again to illusions, not necessarily truth. So we are not interested in being part of a system that is constantly selling something that it does not have, advertising some way that it is fundamentally not. Therefore, selling something that is not in your best interest, backed up by some real world asset or service that is fundamentally lacking something, that this is not a true value for value trade all of the time. Often there can be deception, even in our own ways of thinking or what our true goals are or how we're feeling on any given day. But very often we are giving off an image that doesn't reflect our fullness. Otherwise, we would be crippled all the time by the ways that we're feeling our upsets, perhaps. If it wasn't true that we weren't living within a world of our upsets based off of the past, then wouldn't we see perfect peace and perfect safety all around us? We wouldn't need to practice any of these things that are being suggested in this book because we would fundamentally know them. I cannot admit that I know them in completeness, that I do not feel anxiousness, that I have never felt panic, that I don't feel fear, that sometimes I believe I'm not going to be able to figure it out. But all of those remind me of dis-ease, discomfort, a lack of understanding, and a reminder, therefore, that perhaps I simply need to continue taking a step for the sake of a step, pursuing my highest excitement to the best of my ability with no insistence of the outcome. Thank you, teachers, for reminding me that I've never really totally understood how anything was going to work out. And there can be some peace in stepping into a new flow of fullness. Wholeness is the perceptual content of miracles. Miracles occurring all the time, something habitual, natural, expressions of love, lessons, beginning with our thoughts, causes, their effects linked simultaneously. Wholeness is the perceptual content of miracles. Perceptual. So, something about a miracle, its wholeness, we are able to perceive. Miracles thus correct or atone for, or atone meaning undo. So they atone for, they correct the faulty perception of lack. So we are able to perceive some content of miracles that is their wholeness. Miracles are some flow from someone who temporarily has more to someone who temporarily has less. The wholeness of miracles corrects the faulty perception of lack that we have been perceiving our lives through some lens of lack. It may not feel that way. Perhaps you feel extreme abundance in your life and love. Amazing. I hope you do. Are you able to see yourself truly through your spirit with direct connection to God? Would that be a fuller perspective than simply feeling provided for in our bodies, which is a wonderful feeling, allowing us to dream and create and think into the future? But perhaps wholeness is something larger than we've yet allowed ourselves to imagine. And so even if we are feeling well and do not believe we are victims of lack, that we feel we are still vulnerable, that we may have any attack thoughts at all from which we are reframing, may indicate that we just simply do not see in fullness, reminiscent of this Holy Spirit, that we cannot see our perfection, that this idea of our holiness is challenging to adopt. So perhaps there is a richer fullness, a greater wholeness that we are discovering. And here, still early in this process of 1 year of principles and lessons. Wholeness is the perceptual content of miracles. There is something to miracles, and what we may perceive is their wholeness, what it is like to be full, and therefore correcting some faulty perception of lack, allowing for this process of somewhere with abundance relative to another lack, somewhere that temporarily has more being offered to somewhere or someone that temporarily has less. Both parties receiving a blessing, both parties receiving strength, both parties knowing love, both parties through this process of atoning, undoing, an interlocking chain of forgiveness, therefore both parties receiving forgiveness. I forgive you, I receive God's forgiveness. I am fuller for participating in this undoing, stepping into this flow from abundance to lack, and witnessing, being a part of, admitting that I am what a miracle is, that my content is wholeness, and so is yours. Yesterday, we announced several times, possibly 6 times an hour, I am blessed as a son of God. I said this inside the house, at the park, in bed, in the car, waking up in the middle of the night. I surely did not hit 6 times an hour, but I did dare myself to announce, even if I do not understand, I am blessed as a son of God. Lesson 41, God goes with me wherever I go. Let's read. Today's idea will eventually overcome completely the sense of loneliness and abandonment all the separated ones experience. You and I are separated ones, not identifying with our spirit, not in direct communication, absolute knowing and understanding with the Creator, not seeing our ability to create and that we are creating everything around us, and everything around us is of our imagination. If that is challenging from a body sense, perhaps we find more ease as we enter into a spirit identification where everything could theoretically be in our imagination, including what you are. God goes with me everywhere, wherever I go. God goes with me wherever I go. If I am a spirit directly connected to God, able to listen and experience whatever it is that creation is, and share that experience with God, I will never be alone. Depression is an inevitable consequence of separation. So are anxiety, worry, a deep sense of helplessness, misery, suffering, and intense fear of loss. These are all ideas that exist in a realm separate from God, separate from our sinless selves, separate from our perfect selves, as we are part of God's mind. God goes with me wherever I go. The separated ones have invented many cures, in quotes, I can feel that, for what they believe to be the ills of the world. But one thing they do not do is to question the reality of the problem. Yet its effects cannot be cured because the problem is not real. So, we are making some cures for the effects that we see in the world. And we are not diving deep enough into understanding the reality of what the problem might be. Now, I admit that some of these things in this book seem fairly ethereal, but we're asking questions and allowing answers to show up. And what we're hearing is we cannot cure effects by addressing the effects themselves. And we're not understanding the problem. If we do not understand the problem itself could not be real. And therefore, what we think we are fixing because of the effects we're witnessing, we could be attacking the root cause incorrectly. And we are reminded that there are no neutral things because there are no neutral thoughts. And our miracles are thoughts. And we have control to create our thoughts, to visit our thoughts, to release our thoughts, to notice another way of looking at this. The idea for today has the power to end all this foolishness forever, that we are making cures for ills that do not exist. And foolishness it is, despite the serious and tragic forms it may take. Here we go. Here we are able to acknowledge that what we're seeing around us is horrendous. It's tragic. It's serious. And it's still foolishness. How could that be? Deep within you is everything that is perfect. Deep within you is everything that is perfect, ready to radiate through you and out into the world. It will cure all sorrow and pain and fear and loss because it will heal the mind that thought these things were real and suffered out of its allegiance to them. We are hearing far more direct text now that it is moving beyond our body into our minds, whatever that idea is, wherever that takes us into this spiritually centered perspective. Proceeding from there, allowing us to have true perspective. True vision, we are told, may only bless, that it requires no sacrifice, and it is always easier than we have ever imagined. How could that be true? How could that be true? In order for it to be true, we must be able to simply identify with the Spirit. And from here, separate from the body that the Spirit could be imagining, from here, I think everything falls right into understanding. Deep within you is everything that is perfect, ready to radiate through you and out into the world. It will cure all sorrow and pain and fear and loss. Seems impossible, right? Because it will heal the mind that thought these things were real and suffered out of its allegiance to them. You and I are still invested in our egos, this veil that is asking us to pay attention to what we could be afraid of so that we can plan, thinking that we are intelligent, against this inevitable end, which does not exist. Not for us, it exists for the idea of the ego. And so long as we are in allegiance with the ego, we will suffer its perspective. You can never be deprived of your perfect holiness because its source, capital S, goes with you wherever you go. Okay, God goes with me wherever I go. The source of miracles is love. We are miracles. Our source is love. And here we're being told that our source goes with us wherever we go. So what are we able to infer is that God is love. God is the source of miracles. God is the source of us, whatever it is that we are. This truly is to be made in the image of God, as at least is being alluded to here, means that we are made with love, out of love. Literally, love is creating us and offering us the chance to create unconditionally. We may even suffer if we so choose. You can never suffer because the source, capital S, of all joy goes with you wherever you go. You can never be alone because the source of all life, miracles mean life, goes with you wherever you go. Nothing can destroy your peace of mind, because God goes with you wherever you go. We are never alone. We understand that you do not believe all this. How could you? Who's we? We understand that you do not believe all this. How could you? When the truth is hidden deep within, under a heavy cloud of insane thoughts, dense and obscuring, yet representing all you see. How could you, with this much obfuscation, how could you see? Today we will make our first real attempt to get past this dark and heavy cloud and to go through it to the light beyond. That would be like imagining the sun's not up just because there are rain clouds. There will be only one long practice period today. Wow. In the morning, as soon as you get up, if possible, sit quietly for some 3 to 5 minutes with your eyes closed. At the beginning of the practice period, repeat today's idea very slowly. God goes with me wherever I go. Please say it with me. God goes with me wherever I go. Then make no effort to think of anything. Try instead to get a sense of turning inward, past all the idle thoughts of the world. Try to enter very deeply into your own mind, keeping it clear of any thoughts that might divert your attention. So we will repeat today's idea very slowly. God goes with me wherever I go. And then we will allow ourselves, as best as we may understand how, to relax into an idea of turning inward into ourselves, entering very deeply into our own minds, keeping it clear of thoughts that may divert our attention. From time to time, over this 3 to 5 minute period, first thing when we wake up, if we can remember, from time to time, you may repeat the idea if you find it helpful, but most of all, try to sink down and inward, away from the world and all the foolish thoughts of the world. You are trying to reach past all these things. You are trying to leave appearances and approach reality. Okay, so tucked into this idea is admitting to ourselves that we are image making, that everything that we are participating in our minds and the outer world and all of its inundations is noise. It seems here we want to allow ourselves for these 3 to 5 minutes to accept the idea that there is an internal space to which we may direct ourselves, that may show that the external space is noise, not signal, that it is illusions, not truth. We are going to leave appearances. our image making, and approach reality on the road to vision, true vision. Rather than us worrying about the idea that this book admitted we cannot understand yet because that we are connected to God innately, that God is the source of us, that we are of God's mind, that is possibly literally what we are in some celestial sense. This idea is buried too deeply below dark clouds that this light is hidden. So if we cannot see it, that's okay. And perhaps then it's hard for us to admit that everything that we're seeing around us that feels physical is part of our imagination, and that's okay. However, perhaps we have an openness to a meditation that allows us to slip more deeply down and inward to our own minds and be curious what we discover there. Possibly reality. It is quite possible to reach God. It is quite possible to reach God. How could that be? Because God goes with me wherever I go. In fact, it is very easy because it is the most natural thing in the world. The most natural thing in the world is God. And if God is the most natural thing and we are natural, well, then this book is suggesting that it is very easy to reach God, even if we believe it is impossible. You might even say it is the only natural thing in the world. The way will open if you believe that it is possible. Let us allow ourselves to believe that it is possible that there is somewhere deeper we may sink into inside of ourselves in our own mind that could be more peaceful than what we are experiencing in our physical lives. We don't have to understand how everything is constructed, but perhaps for 3 to 5 minutes, we can let it be what it is and be curious about arriving with ease, naturally, inside of our own minds, where we might understand at least a touch of peace and love, as this book is suggesting that in this realm, wherever that is inside of us, which is beautiful that it is inside of us somehow, that's how we're being instructed, but this realm is the connection to God. The way will open if you believe that it is possible. This exercise can bring very startling results, even the first time it is attempted, and sooner or later, it is always successful. Eventually, it's successful. We will go into more detail about this kind of practice as we go along, but it will never fail completely. And instant success is possible. Tomorrow morning could be the day that you wake up to God. I don't read any of the comments in here, but if you do, maybe you leave a note and maybe I discover it and maybe we celebrate you as you would be an example of the anything, part of the everything, of all there is that has proven that there is a connection to God that could be so easy and instant that you did it on day 41. Throughout the day, use today's idea often, repeating it very slowly, preferably with eyes closed. Think of what you are saying, what the words mean. God goes with me wherever I go. Concentrate on the holiness that the words imply about you. God goes with me wherever I go. Concentrate on the unfailing companionship that is yours. God goes with me wherever I go. Concentrate on the complete protection that surrounds you. Think about what you are saying and what the words mean. Concentrate on the holiness that they imply about you, on the unfailing companionship that is yours. What you want is yours. On the complete protection that surrounds you. You are enveloped in your holiness, in God's holiness. Such exists a place of perfect peace and perfect safety and freedom from worry. May we concentrate on the complete protection that surrounds us, the unfailing companionship that is ours, the holiness that these words imply about us. You can indeed afford to laugh at fear thoughts, remembering that God goes with you wherever you go. That does sound like a great joke. If God is with us everywhere we go, about what would we ever need to be fearful? Maybe many situations would threaten to overwhelm us and our egos and our body identification. But if we deny this and affirm a spirit identification, perhaps we end up laughing. I won't venture to say that I have any of this figured out. I'm learning live and you're witnessing it. But sometimes I cannot help but laugh when I look around. And it could be some effervescent, wow. I can't see it. But does anyone else see what's going on here? There's something happening. And the language we're being asked to embrace is something greater than the spectacle or illusion of magic alone. That there is a true miracle here. That we are made of love and we are imbued with the power to create with love. May we laugh when we find ourselves fearful. May we realize that everything is enveloped in our holiness, that we are enveloped in God's holiness, and that God goes with us wherever we go. I am Kesten Rono, and God goes with me wherever I go. I suppose I'll bring him here tomorrow for day 42 of A Course in Miracles. Thank you for your time meditating. May you effortlessly wake up somewhere deep within your own mind and discover an idea of truth and love to build in your own best interest, to form true goals, to build with truth on a path to abundance. And in your wholeness, as you are a miracle yourself, may you give what you have and receive the strength of the blessing of offering love and forgiveness to others, passing on your abundance in the natural flow of miracles, helping to correct the illusion-based perceptions that us fear-based thinkers have given our allegiance to. Please be well.